Welcome to another chapter of In the Keep podcast. I'm your very own prophet of the drowned god, the Motherlode. This show is all about the world of arena first-person shooters, classic FPS games, their legacies, their lineage, and the people who keep that world turning. These are the players, the developers, the streamers, the influencers. It is the will of the drowned god Cthulhu that our communities band together in her cathedral to frag and give one another into oblivion for all eternity. Alright, so we've got time for a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the interview, so I'll take the time to talk about a couple of things that are on my mind. Big one is we're about halfway to our goal for making the initial purchase on some In the Keep t-shirts. That would involve basically myself and Spaced buying a bunch of them, distributing them out first to obviously like Patreon subscribers and contributors to the show and everything, and people who help with the keep. And then whatever's left over after that, we'll probably sell them off, get them out there, and then if we are able to turn a profit from that, probably reinvest that and gauge the audience to see who wants them, and if that number is significant, then put them up for sale on like an online store or something. With that said, there are a few different options. Obviously, we could go through like a Redbubble or a Threadless or something like that, which would be fine. It wouldn't be a huge profit margin, but it would be pretty low maintenance for us. That's possible. The other option is to do it grassroots punk rock style, like really just do it, like buy the shirts like I said earlier and get that rolling. And that's probably what we're going to do because we want to make sure it has like a personal touch to it, like you'll get it. It might be like a little thank you note or some extra swag we got sitting around, anything like that. Just wanted to keep you guys posted, especially those of you who do contribute. So with that, we'll say thanks to Dots, Moose, Larissa, Nabe, Paul, and Brandflakes, all who have generously given to the show. Thank you very much. You are all greatly appreciated. The rest of you guys out there, if you would like to support the show, obviously, Patreon, PayPal. There's also the Amazon affiliate link. I know you motherfuckers buy shit on Amazon. It doesn't cost you anything extra if you just want to click on our link and then make your purchase. No muss, no fuss. Everybody wins. We get a little bit of extra. That goes, everything, all donations go into production here, as well as, things for you. The tournaments, when we do a prize pool or anything like that, all of it comes straight out of the Keep Fund. That's the whole goal. Support the community. Also, paying for servers if we have to do that. Anything that costs money, we're trying to make sure that no individual is paying for it. It is community supported by everyone. Spread it out, spread the love, all that good shit. One more note on the Amazon affiliate link while I'm thinking about it. We are aware of the fact that people outside of the United States cannot currently use our affiliate link because it is a .com, it's linked to the US and all that stuff. I know there's some Euros and some Canadians out there who perhaps use Amazon. I definitely know there's some Canadians who do, but it's got to be like a .ca. I've found a potential workaround for that so that we can get a universal link, and I will be actively working on that. So those of you who do want to use it will have the option. Just letting you know, it's not going to be right this second, but it will be hopefully up pretty soon. For all these links, make sure you go over to inthekeep.com. That is the hub for all things In the Keep. You can find our Discord, our YouTube page. Probably already found it if you're listening to the podcast. If you're listening to it audio only, thank God. But if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can also go to the website to find all of the links to all the episodes for iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, whatever your preferred podcast app is. It's probably on there, and if it's not, we could probably sort that out for you and figure out where you can get the show to you. Another thing I wanted to mention about Patreon subscribers, I can give Patreon subscribers the episode early. There's a few different ways to do that. I could just drop the MP3 in there for you guys, and so if you are a subscriber, you will then receive the MP3 to the podcast before everyone else. I'm not going to say how much earlier because it really comes down to sometimes like when do I finish editing it. But as soon as that is possible, I can give that to Patreon subscribers, and I'd really like to do that, but I'd like some feedback on what you guys want in terms of, do you just want an MP3? Do you want an unlisted YouTube video? What is your preferred method? Feedback, greatly appreciated on that. All that said, let's get into this interview. It's a very special one to me. This is LocKtar. He has returned. The last time we spoke with him was, I believe, back in like March. I'm not sure. Like episode, single digit episode for sure. And he, at that point in time, had been kind of retired from Quake. He wasn't really playing Quake competitively anymore. And I don't want to take credit for it, but it definitely pushed him to give it another go, get back in there, do it for us. And lo and behold, he did go to QHLAN 2019 and he won duels, and he'd never done that before. As amazing of a legendary Quake player as LocKtar always has been, he'd never taken the W at QHLAN, and this year it happened, and it's a miracle, and it's really inspiring. And I just wanted to touch base with him, see how he's doing, see how he felt, get a gauge on what his trajectory is now, if he's going to be involved still in the community and everything, and all those questions I think we got answers to. So without any further ado, let's get in the keep with LocKtar. LocKtar, you won.
I won. I did it. At least in 1-1.
I was so excited, because I didn't get to watch it. I was working the whole weekend of QHLAN, and I didn't get to see it until you texted me like Sunday or Monday saying dude, I won, and I had to go back and watch it all really fast because I thought I was going to talk to you the next day. So I stayed up till 4 a.m. watching your match.
What a trooper! That's nice.
I mean, I wanted to because it was awesome.
Yeah. And so, what do you think about the matches then?
So, one of the things that really came to mind was I could kind of see it starting, sort of in the quarterfinals and definitely in the semifinals against Blood Dog. I kind of saw something switch with you. You kind of started playing at a different level at that point. I think it was on DM4, which is your map, but just something clicked in that match where you're you just started hitting everything. Your LG was so on point, and he couldn't really get a footing in the door after a bit, because at first it seemed like he was kind of putting up a really good fight, and I was impressed with him because I like Blood Dog too, man. He actually won our QuakeWorld tournament recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know if he was sleep deprived or if you're just the best or what, but I mean,
I don't know. It was so weird because I told you in the other interview that we did they're gonna play the whole of August, and I almost did. I think I played at least 14 of those days maybe, and I was an hour or so, and I was it's so hard to find the motivations, and you're getting beat up by people online that you usually beat, and of course you win 95% of the games, but still you're not putting up the same skill that you want to show everyone. So, and I was last week before the QHLAN, I was in Finland at my girlfriend's place, and did not practice for a whole week, and then just went home, played the Wednesday, and the Thursday went to the LAN, and I was okay, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I don't have any pressure on myself. But when I started playing there, it was getting back to me more and more because I got these hours behind the wheel, so to say. I think I played at least 5-6 hours a day or something like that. So, and it felt not that good in the beginning, but as you mentioned, it's the more the tournament went and the harder the opponents were, the higher I could put the bar. So it felt felt really, really good in the last. Yeah, the last 3-4 games felt better and better.
Something that really kind of caught my interest with that was I knew you weren't going to practice as much as the other guys did. I knew that you were going to start maybe a month or two out and just kind of get your feet wet and then work your way up to it. But a lot of people talk about quality of practice over quantity of practice. So some of these guys may have just been trying to get as many matches as they possibly could. Whereas, I mean, first of all of you guys have years of experience, so it's just a matter of getting back on the bicycle, I would assume.
Yeah.
But did I expect you to win? I mean, I love you, man. I didn't know.
I did not think I would win. Yeah,
Yeah.
BPS. I thought BPS would win. Maybe some other guys. I mean, Blood Dog is also a very good opponent, and I don't know how much he has been playing, but I know that I have not been playing for 1.5 years. But what I do have is the routine, and I think when you have the routine and you're when you're playing like at this level, it's so hard to how can I say it? Because you want to play in a certain style, but your actions won't allow you because you don't have the fingertip feeling when you play, and it's very frustrating to play. But eventually, when you start playing more and more, everything comes slowly back to you, and you can feel that your shaft is really on point and your spine movements is like accurate. Then it's really fun to play, and I can really feel it. Like as you said, 3-4 last games was perfect, and it was so strange because it was like I think the final was played around 3-4 a.m. in the morning. So I was tired, but I could really feel the QuakeWorld blood boiling in my veins almost. It was a pleasure to play.
Another part of it that I kind of analyzed or saw unfold is that, you know, typically you're super aggressive and really fast, and then at that point where you face Blood Dog and then you move into BPS, it seemed like you started to change your pace. You got comfortable. Yeah. Like I don't even want to say you got comfortable because obviously the edge was on and everything was on fire, I'm assuming, but it's like you found a groove, and then you were able to like be in that Zen space to just, okay, now I will change my pace up a bit. You can trick people like that. And that's what, I don't think anyone ever expects you to do that. They just like,
no, exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny how things pan out because Blood Dog and BPS have two different play styles. I've played BPS plenty of times, and I played Blood Dog also, but in the end, I was more worried about BPS. Blood Dog, I knew that he is really good at CTN, but the BPS, the final game versus BPS, he picked DM6, and I was like, this can go either way. But I think I got a better spawn, and I got some early kills. Yeah. And I think I got into his head because he got frustrated and flooded me somehow. And when he flooded me, I got my aim was better and better. I mean, at the end of the game, it felt like even if he had a high stack, I could always do much more damage than he could do on me. And I think that DM6 really put a needle in his ass throughout all these games because he is really good, but I think I got under his skin there, so yeah, good for me.
DM6 is my favorite map in QuakeWorld, and the last time that we spoke, I really didn't have much experience in that. Like since we spoke, you and Messiah and BPS really inspired me to like deep dive into the game, and I played a shit ton. DM6 is by far my favorite map, and I remembered as I was watching it, you saying like the first thing you need to do on DM6 is get the LG, and that's exactly what you did. You played perfectly to what you told me how your strategy was on that map. And it paid off, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, get the LG and try to time red armor as much as possible. And you don't want, when you have the red armor timings, you can just take the red and go try to do as much damage as possible, and then just go back and grab it again. So that is, and of course, LG is the main thing because the enemy can't do much if he has not the LG. He can try to spam in rockets, and some people are really good at spamming in like spam rockets to kill you, but then they need to land them also, and he did not do that game.
Well, for instance, Aerowalk has a shit ton of rockets, and you're going to see a lot more rockets in Aerowalk, whereas DM6 doesn't have as many. There's like 2-3 packs of rockets. Period. You don't have as many to work with to spam, so you have to be
exactly.
Yeah.
The rockets are very important on DM6. You don't want to, especially when you are in control. The only thing that can really hurt you if the enemy doesn't have any LG is those spams rockets. And that is what he should have explored more. Because I don't want to spam too many rockets to waste my rockets. Because in the fights, I need the rockets to finish him off or try to kill him some way. So I need to save my rockets while he can just spam them out. But I think he was a little bit in the panic mode because I was up in so many frags, and I think it was maybe 3-4 minutes left. He had to make something happen, and it was hard for him that game.
So what do you think gave you the edge ultimately? Like why you and not BPS?
I'm still asking myself that question because he has been playing flawlessly this tournament also. And I think in the end, I mean, tournament-wise, I have not lost that many. I mean, I don't know how many games I've won versus him in tournament. Like, it feels like I have the upper edge every time it's like a tournament or whatever. And it was strange because I was not that tired, even though the time was pretty late. But I don't know. It's hard. I think it was DMC's game that gave me the upper hand. He cannot deliver.
Yeah, BPS. My analysis of his style is that like he's very dynamic. Like he can really he's unpredictable in that he can really play any style at any given point. Like I was saying earlier about you, how you started slowing down your pace. He can do that on the fly in any match. I've seen him multiple times do that to players where go really fast and then he'll slow it down and bring it back a little bit and make you think he's still going to attack, and then you get comfortable and then he comes in, changes it again. So you almost like played his own card against him, especially on DM6. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, DM6 is fun in that way because I got the better spawn, I think I got the better spawn at least, and if you can somehow keep it, and because I trusted my aim so badly that game that was like I knew that if I have the shaft, he won't be able to kill me. That was almost the feeling I had all the time, and I could almost sense that he had too much respect for my shaft also, and it was a nice feeling because I could feel that he was getting frustrated, and I think that he thought that DMC is gonna be his game.
Yeah,
but yeah, so
you had to respect your shaft. I got it.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So how was the weekend though? Like, did you enjoy it? Have a good time seeing everybody getting together with folks?
Yeah, it was. I had my girlfriend with me, so it was nice to have someone rub your back while playing and bringing you all the Diet Cokes and so on. So it was pretty nice in that regard. But the meeting like Paradox, I've not seen him in many years, and him actually playing also. I mean, we saw Dev there, the Brazilian, and with Blood Dog, of course. I mean, Ceylon, who has organized the thing. So it was. I mean, many people, and the new Quakers that I've seen on the servers in August when playing them, they were there also. So it was. Yeah, it was. I think it was. Not maybe the highest standard because I think we was like in, I don't know if it was some kind of dining hall or some school or whatever we was in. But yeah, I mean, it's always the people there that makes the event worthwhile.
Yeah, one thing that I really enjoyed about the stream was that Jahar or whoever was wiring up the cameras had like the crowd camera and the camera of the LAN. And there's so many times where specifically it's like you can see a crowd of people and then you just like kind of walk into the screen and you just looked excited, man. You just looked happy. And you're like bouncing. And I really enjoyed seeing that, man. And I liked, go ahead, you talk.
I mean, Jihar and Krista, they're pros at what they're doing. So it was always gives you an extra boost when it's professional coverage of everything. I mean, that is always fun to watch and have like in the history books. I mean, they are covering everything. Without them, there would be like some files on a computer somewhere that, and maybe, I don't know, forum post on QE.new. So it was, so them being there is, I mean, everyone think it's amazing with interviews and in-depth analysis and the funny moments with player castings and so on. So it's, yeah, of course, that gives everyone an extra boost, I think.
Yeah, it really felt like a family, like especially at the end when you guys were dueling, because Rose was on with Jahar, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting because, you know, husband and wife team doing. I don't know if I could do that. I don't think I could work with my wife like that. She probably
Have you tried it?
No, I mean, I should try it, but we'll see.
Might be at the end of the relationship.
But at least like Rose is into Quake. My wife would be like,
yeah.
What did he just do there? He shot him with a thingy. Like it'd probably be funny.
Yeah, it's fun because my girlfriend has no experience about FPS games or anything computer games, like not at all. But she was actually sitting. I'm not like that, but I don't have any problems. Okay? So yeah, she was sitting beside me and was actually nervous during the games. So she was like almost biting her nails. So it was cool to watch. So I think I mean, of course, she knows the basics of the games and so on. But yeah, I think she told me that she had a lot of fun and thought it was exciting, even though she doesn't understand the maps and how much damage the weapons does, but she can feel the tension in the air and everyone is sharing when nice frags happen and so on. So I think and I know that she enjoyed it.
That's cool, man. And then I
Yeah.
guess were you and BPS actually playing to see who had to drive home? Was that actually a thing?
So the thing is, on our way to the LAN, BPS drove the first bit, and I drove the middle bit, and my girlfriend drove the last bit. So me and BPS, we were drinking beers while she was driving. That was not that much appreciated, but she was a trooper and like dealt with it. So thank you, my dear girlfriend, if you see this, thank you. And I told her that I will drive the way home, and I did not drive the whole way, but I did drive a lot of the way anyway.
Okay.
So, but we didn't have any games towards who was gonna do the driving. We split it up.
That's fair. Yeah. Do you think there will ever become a point in QHLAN where they start to play the newer maps like Skull and such, or Shifter?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's the players who's gonna decide if new maps is gonna be involved, and I think at QHLAN we sign this paper which map we would prefer, the regular TB5 or the extended map pool, and I have not played extended, so I picked the normal TB5 then. But yeah, of course, it's always the player who will decide. And yeah, I mean, why not? I have played some of them, and I think they're pretty good maps. But it's hard for them when the old players come back and they see these new maps. It's not going to motivate them to play more because, yeah, you really need to dig into a map if you really want to know how to play it. And yeah, can be hard for them maybe.
When we did our American Duel tournament, we put it up to vote. We just basically said, like, here's a list of all the current Duel maps, and then we'll literally pick them in order by who picks them. And it was like overwhelmingly all newer maps. And DM2 was dead last picked, and I was really surprised. But that's what we did. And then DM2, we allowed, like, if you want to pick DM2 in the finals, by all means go ahead. But like no one did, and it was very heavily played on Skull, ZTN, Aerowalk. I think was the first choice of everyone, and then Shifter was pretty high in the list. It was pretty interesting, and I don't know. I love all the old maps except for DM2, but that's just neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, was it a lot of new players that signed up in that tournament?
Relatively,
okay.
None of them are, OG pros like you, except for, BPS and a couple others that had joined the tournament were kind of like had been playing for quite a number of years. But
okay,
it wasn't, it's obviously not you guys because you guys don't live in America, so.
No, yeah, because I think if it's a lot of new players or half new, of course, I think they are more easily attracted to new maps because all the old maps, the old players are so good at it. It's hard. It's like a uphill battle to play versus the old this. So yeah, that might be one of the reasons.
I feel like DM2 gets grandfathered in because it's an original map. People love it and they've played it for so many years. But I've theorized if DM2 never existed and we released that map today, like I just made a brand new map and you're like, this is it. Nobody would pick that fucking map for duels, man.
I don't think even I would pick that map. I mean, I cannot say that I dislike DM2 because I've played it since I was born almost. But yeah, if that map was created today, I don't think I would enjoy it. Because all new maps, I'm like always like this in the beginning. But then after a while, when everyone plays it, you're like, yeah, you have to play this because where else I will not win any tournament. So you have to put in the effort. So yeah.
I really like Skull because it's one of the only duel maps where you can actually be knocked out of bounds, and that's a really interesting new dynamic that you see. And also, there's verticality. There's so many ways to jump around and kind of get the drop on your opponent and everything. I very much enjoy that map. I like the red armor placement. I like how if you go for Mega, it's wide open, whereas a lot of take DM4 for example. Mega is like in this room that you better not go in there because you'll probably just die. On Skull, it's like you have a wide open range to kind of get into that room and get out quickly, but you can see it from many different angles. So I don't know. I really, really like that map, and I think it's a great competitive map. I
Yeah,
enjoyed every match I've seen on it at the higher level. So
I agree with you. I agree. If Skull would come into the map pool, I would like accept it
yeah.
because that map it's an old map. Also, it's not a new map.
Well, you know what
But
I'm saying. Not the original
yeah,
maps.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah. And I would totally accept it because only because I played it a lot. I'm not good at it, but I know how the map looks like. So yeah, Skull is a nice map. I like it.
Okay. Is there any other experience that you kind of took away from your win? Like what? I guess what I really want to know is like, how does it feel to finally get that W in at QHLAN? Because I know it's been a long fucking. You had all this off time. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to play. You said the only reason you would come back is for this, and then you actually pulled it off. So like, what do you take away from that? How does that make you feel as a human?
I mean,
What did you prove?
yeah, I mean, QHLAN has always been like the pillar of everything. I mean, online tournaments and everything. I mean, it's always nice, but QHLAN has been with everyone for so long, and winning QHLAN. I mean, it's of course it's a gold star in the corner. So I'm gonna be always proud of that. Yeah, and winning it under these circumstances, pretty cool. I'm gonna pat my back. Maybe I'll pat this one also. I'm pretty proud of myself. So yeah, I'm
And you
gonna.
also came in second in 2v2s?
Yeah, me and BPS played versus Milton and Heno, the Finnish dream team. And yeah, second place, yeah, always good. I mean, you have to always have to look at the player who was there also. So I mean, it is what it is. But second place 2-2, and it was nice to have a warm up, like because the 2-2 tournament was on the first day of the LAN. It was nice to have some warm up games before the 1-1. That was my real reason for going there. So it's it was perfect.
And Milton elected not to play in the duels. Do you think
Yeah.
that was that a factor in your win? Do you feel like
Of course,
yeah?
of course. I mean, I would love to that if Milton would have signed up, it would be awesome. But he doesn't like 1-1 for some reason. He says it's what I've heard. It's a lot of, too much pressure on him. But in my mind, I love that pressure. That is why I play. So I don't understand. But everyone is different, and if he doesn't like to play 1-1, okay. I don't like to play 4-4 either. But
Yeah.
if that's a tournament in LAN, then you sign up and play. I guess.
Team modes in QuakeWorld are weird. Like honestly,
What do you
compared to
mean?
compared to later games,
Mhm.
just take Quake 3, Quake Live for example, or any other arena shooter that has multiplayer like that. In Quake World, the strategy seems to be take the best guy, give him all the assets, and then everyone else just kind of like help him control the items.
Yeah.
In other games, like people get used to being like we all have weapons, we're all contributing, and in Quake World, it's the maps aren't really designed for that. It seems you'll play on some maps that would otherwise be dual maps, and so a lot of new players, what I see, getting into 4v4, 3v3, that kind of stuff, get frustrated by the fact that like, okay, I've spawned, and then all I have is my shotgun, and this is all I'm gonna have until I die again because someone else already got rockets, and just that cycle continues, and they get train wrecked.
Yeah, it's a bit hardcore in that regard. I mean, that is how it has always been,
Yeah,
and that's what people are used to. And I can always. That is why I don't like 4-4 either, because that is why I always end up with no weapons. But that is also if you play it more. I mean, you have your own roles and so on, and you eventually, if you're in the winning team, you're gonna have a weapon and do some fragging also. But it's so much of a team play that you need to accept your role with the shotgun. You need to do as much damage as possible with that, and being able to synchronize your attacks to control a red or whatever item is spawning, mega or not mega maybe, but quadrant and pent and whatever.
uh,
That's how it's always been. So yeah,
that's what I really
it's a
like
bit
about
hardcore.
Quake World is it's kind of like you guys are used to it because it's what you started with, but for new players to come into it, it's kind of like this is what it is. You got to take it or leave it, and that's it. And it's a hard sell sometimes because people don't. I don't know. Either they don't want to, they don't have the time, or they don't have the like fortitude to just accept that I'm gonna get my ass turned into a sleeping bag every time I play this game for a long time.
Yeah, but hopefully you play versus opponents that are similar skill.
Right.
If you play versus a much better clan or whatever, you're gonna get stomped. And that's if you play 1-on-1 versus a much better player, you're gonna get stomped also. That is why it's important to play versus somewhat, maybe a little bit better skill than you, but the games are somewhat even. Because if they're not even in QuakeWorld, you're gonna get stomped real hard, and that is not a fun game. Maybe in other games, even if you get stomped, you can get some weapons and you can jump around and do some damage at least, maybe. But in QuakeWorld, it's like the scene is small, so it's very hard for someone to jump in a 4-on-4 2-2 and expect to do some damage. It's rough.
Have you played any other games recently at all? Or is you just kind of like jump in and then get out completely with QuakeWorld?
Yeah, I mean, I have not played anything at all. I played some in August, as I said, but other than that, I only pay my bills on the computer. But I mean, even after QHLAN, I've been playing some more Quake recently.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any cars to screw at the moment, so I've been playing some Quake, and I mean, the shape is really good at the moment, so it's fun to play also. So I'm gonna, I mean, and I work night shifts nowadays, so I have time to play during the days. And so I'm gonna play and I think there's like a 1-on-1 tournament going on also, and hopefully many other players signs up for that, so I can really test my skill at the moment. So I'm looking forward to it.
So you're back.
Keep on playing.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. But for how long? I don't know. As long as it feels good.
I literally almost cried when you told me you won, and the fact that you messaged me directly and was like, "Did you know?" Like that really, I was like. This is exact because I predicted this. I said in the first interview, I was like, if this interview in any way inspires you to come back and play QuakeWorld again, I win. Like I fulfilled my destiny. So
yeah, you did. Thank you for that. I mean, if it weren't for you, I would not. I don't think I would have signed up for the QHLAN. I don't think so. No.
You won, but like it did make me feel good that you thought of me, man. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
I really want to see you try out Warfork. I think you would like
Warfork.
Yeah.
What is that?
Are you familiar with Warsaw, the older game? Warsaw. Okay.
Yeah, that is the FPS game, like a newer Warsaw. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's literally it's just Warsaw, but it's just been moved to Steam, and they changed the name because they acquired it elsewhere.
Okay.
But so for the longest time, I always liked that game, and then I kind of always just assumed like it's dead now. No one's ever going to play it again. Now that they've released it on Steam and they've revamped it, they're making it look better, optimizing it a little bit more. It's kind of the hot new thing in arena shooters. But what I find interesting about Warsaw in particular is that or Warfork in this case, is that the movement is very open to anyone joining. It's not like Quake Champions where you have to like kind of pick different characters or any bullshit like that. It's like if you jump into this game and you're familiar with bunny hopping, you can just bunny hop. If you come in and you're familiar with just strafe jumping, you could just strafe jump. And then there's also the added mechanics of like wall jumping and everything. The railgun is present, but it feels a little bit more like a Quake 2 railgun than it does like a Quake 3 railgun. And so as I'm playing this, I'm thinking like, man, this game could really bring in a lot of different types of players because a QuakeWorld player could easily hop in and just start bunny hopping around the map and feel pretty much at home.
Is it free, the game, or
yeah, it's free.
Does it cost them?
It's free on Steam. So
maybe I'll try it tomorrow then.
I think it'd be really neat. Just to kind of see if you like it. Because it's kind of like the Keep has been super hyped on it lately. We got a bunch of servers up, and we're just like we had a little bit of like a King of the Hill event recently. It's cool, and I like seeing. First of all, I like seeing Warsaw finally kind of get the respect that it's deserved, and unfortunately lost for a long time. And it's partially the community, partially the devs, partially a lot of different things.
Yeah.
To have it back and have it interesting again, really, is really cool. And the number of people that. I don't know why it wasn't obvious to just put the fucking game on Steam in the first place. Like,
well, I will download it tomorrow. I will play it.
Try it out.
So I mean, if it would have been there earlier, maybe I would play it. Maybe I would be a new Warsaw pro now.
No, I mean it's possible. Man. It's possible. Anything could happen. I'll duel you. I mean, it might be like the very first time you play, I might get like a frag on you, and then I'll.
No pressure on me now.
No, there's a lot of new stuff on the horizon, man. Like Diabolical coming out pretty soon. I think that's going to be fun, especially as frustrated as people are with Quake Champions and everything. But We always got good old QuakeWorld, man, and that's good.
Yeah, that is good. I mean, I always can fall back on this old game, but it's like I'm not getting any younger, and I mean, I know what it takes to become a pro in any game. And so it's so easy for me to just go to QHLAN and win something. When I'm jumping into a new game, it's not that easy to perform, and it's like you want to perform, you want to do good, and then you need to put that in the man hours, and that hours is it's hard.
Nah,
it's
man,
hard.
you could just have a fun time. You could just relax.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about it anymore. You already won.
Yeah,
You're the champion. You're the world champion.
So now I can just relax and just sit there with a beer and maybe I need to just change my mindset. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should drop my winner mentality and just I don't know.
So I've been trying to organize events and think of better ways to do it, especially from a streaming point of view. Like I want to make it more palatable and interesting for an audience. Whereas, so when you have a proper bracketed tournament, it can last a really fucking long time, and you see a bunch of matches you really don't want to see, and it's always like trying to like tell people, all right, you're playing in this server, you're playing like everything's going on at once. And I'm thinking I definitely never want to get rid of tournaments, but for events like that are like a big showcase of, say we wanted to do another QuakeWorld Manifest Destiny thing, I think it's a pretty cool idea to kind of do it like a boxing fight. You know how you say it's not you're not going to sit here and watch an entire boxing tournament. We're going to show you, the people in this weight class, and then two people who are really evenly matched in this, and so on up the ladder. I think it'd be really fun to have an event in QuakeWorld where we kind of do something like that. So we take like
an invitational game. Or
exactly, or not even a tournament. Just let's in my mind. Let's take two really good American 2v2 teams and throw them in there. Bam. Yeah. All right. They duke it out, best of 3, best of 5, something like that. And then say we have like Manifest Destiny 1 rematch between, the two top players from that, which would be, whoever.
I agree with you.
And then
sounds really fun.
And then for the main event, I could be like, all right, we got the QHLAN 2019 rematch between BPS and LocKtar, and they're going to duke it. And it would be easy because there's no reason for you guys to have to be on our server. I could just be like, we'll pop over. If you guys have scheduled your time, we do it, and it'd be done. And I think stuff like that would be more interesting for people to watch and get excited about.
I agree.
20 minutes of waiting on people to warm up and get in the map is like, oh, shit, dude, come on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah.
So make it happen. I mean, I like it because you can cherry pick the teams or players that maybe you can do a voting thing. Which player 101 do you want to see? Like, and you can talk to the players, when can you do this, and is it possible to blah blah blah, and you make it happen. And like 4-on-4, 2-on-2, 1-on-1, and then maybe the event can go on for like 2 hours. I don't know. That would be awesome, and the audience would only get the best action and like the best intrigues and everything in every matchup. That would be nice.
I'm gonna have to like throw this all together and put it on paper before I release this interview, so that no one steals my idea. But I think it could be fun.
And I love it. I mean, that is exactly perfect. I mean, I would love that if someone told me, okay, I want to do like this show match between you and because this is the setup and this is how we think about things, and this we're gonna do this big stream, and so just be ready in this time and with the dates you can play and so on. That would be awesome.
For me personally, like if I want to see a match and you guys said, and I don't think you would, but if you did, you're like, I'll do it for $100. I could probably just throw you $100. Be like, let's make this shit happen. But
we will never be. QuakeWorld players are not greedy. We love the game so much.
If you were greedy, you wouldn't play Quake. You play Fortnite or.
Yeah, I'm way too old for that cartoon game,
Whatever, man. If people like it, I don't care. Whatever you like. Enough. What else has been going on, dude? How are you doing in life? Like just background. You said you've been having a really good couple of months. You're not working too hard.
No, it's a lot of things happening in my life at the moment. Like 4 months ago, I met the woman of my dreams, more or less. So, and she lives in Finland, so it's a bit complicated in that regard. But we are working things out, and I'm going there for some weekends, and she's coming here, and we're planning the future and everything. So that is a big thing because I'm almost planning on. Yeah, I am planning on moving there in like the next year to her place because she has studying things in Finland that she needs to take care of, and this long distance relationship is it's a bit hard to do in the long run because it sucks when you're away from each other for a couple of weeks now and then. That happens, and I mean, work is going good here, so it's that. I mean, those things collide a little bit, but everything is workable. I mean, you work with what you got, and what's more important in life do you have than love? That is how it is.
It's really interesting, man. Like the last time we talked, I remember you saying like, I haven't met the right woman, and it's like you're like kind of acting like a ladies' man. Like I got my like, and now you're like, what's more important than love? I'm moving to Finland.
That is so much fun to have. Do you remember that? That's nice.
Yeah.
I didn't remember you saying that, but that was probably what I felt at that moment. But now I'm like, I'm really into this, and it feels so good. So I'm like, I'm doing this 100%, and it feels really nice. But of course, I mean, it's a lot of things that needs to be taken care of and thought and everything. But that is life. Life happens, you know.
Now I don't have a place to crash when I come to Sweden, dude. I gotta go to fucking.
You always have a place to crash, you know. Just call me. I will sort you in somewhere.
Okay. Do you have any other plans as far as? I know you're kind of taking it casually. Do you have plans to go back like 2 more years? You'll be at QHLAN. Do you want to continue to like compete at the high level, or are you just back casually? What's the deal? Hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, when I got home from QHLAN, I did not play. I played the first games like 2 days ago, and I felt the shape was good. I was like owning everyone with the shaft is still on point. It feels nice to play. So I was like, I mean, if the shape is this good, why should I not play? And it's nice to be playing again when I have the time, because I work night nowadays. So in the evenings, on the daytime, I don't have much to do. So it works now. But I know when the regular times come back, it's another thing. If there's a tournament going on, of course, I will motivate myself to play. But it's hard to say. But you never know. I will play as long as it feels okay for me. But
who do you typically practice with?
No one in particular. I just join a server, and if someone's there, I play. And sometimes I play this Bloodfest thing that you just kill monsters, and they spawn quad, and they spawn more monsters. It's pretty fun to waste some time with. But I got a bit of pain in the back if I sit too long. This chair is not a real gaming chair.
Yeah.
So I get like, I can play maybe an hour, then I get a bit of a sore back, so I need to do other things also. But I play when I feel like it, and I have no intention on. I don't think I have an intention of quitting completely. I mean, QHLAN was, if there's a QHLAN next year, I will probably go there also, depending on situation. I never know. I mean, maybe I have kids next year. I don't know what happens. But you never know. You never know. Yeah. Maybe I can sit with the kid in the knee, play with the mouse only. Maybe people will have a chance then.
I've seen it happen, man. Like I've seen tournaments where a player, like an online tournament, and he's like, "Yo, sorry, man, my kid's crying.
Yeah.
I'll be right back." Yeah. And I've seen Flambeau, who's a Doom player. Like I think his daughter, he set her on his desk, and she actually smacked the spacebar and killed an imp in Doom. And she's a baby, so she became like the youngest person to ever frag an imp in like live.
Oh,
yeah,
that is impressive.
Anything could happen, dude. But you got to raise your kid. If you do have a kid, you better raise them right and have them like playing these types of games at least.
Yeah, I gotta put this baby chair beside it. Maybe they can watch me and see how I do it.
Sit them on your shoulders.
Play with them occasionally. Like do a little spin and go back to the game.
Yeah.
Don't give me any ideas now. I'm like planning this already.
If you're excited about it, man, do it. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to encourage you to like go crazy and ruin your life, but if you feel really passionately about it, you really do.
Yeah, it's about that ruining your life or not ruining my life. I mean, I like to gamble, but not that much. We will see what happens. We will see. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's always gonna be good. If you have a positive mentality, it's gonna be good.
Are you seeing at least in your area, are there newer players joining up and getting excited? Do you feel like these big events bring in a new crowd? And then of that percentage, if they do join, who stays? Or do you have a vision of the
Um,
future for this?
yeah, I mean, I've been away for only 1.5 years, and I mean, many of the old some players you forget also, but many old players are still there, and some new players is on the service, and that is nice. And I mean, as it seems now, I mean, people are talking about like 5, 10 years ago that the game is dead. It has been dead for many, many years. If you say dead in that it's not thousands and thousands of players, but we have this, yeah, the family mentality almost. Like the old players, they stick to the game, and yeah, some new people come in and play. Sometimes the oldies, like the retirement players, come and play also, and they stay for a while. So people come and go. But when I look at the QTV, there's like 45, 50 people playing, and it's like more than that when I played 1.5 years ago. So people are playing, so that is fun. So that I don't see the game dying completely, because they are motivated souls out there putting time and energy and money into the game. And yeah, so I mean, I don't see it dying in the
Who
many, many years.
are there any newer players that you kind of like got your eye on, or that you noticed while you were competing? Like this guy really might be something, or
There are some players. I mean, I saw this guy Dago. I played with him in August, and I've been seeing him pretty often on the service, and he was quite all right for being a beginner, I guess. It's hard to say. You have to put in the energy, so much time to it, and I've not played that much. But yeah, he's the one that came to mind, that he has been active, and he seems a bit passionate about the game, and he likes 1-on-1 as I do. So he allows me to play him and spank him, and he's totally fine with it. So it's, yeah, he has the right mentality, and that will be good for him, that he is not quitting just because he's getting beaten up.
there's got to be a new guard if the game's going to continue. I mean, you and BPS are getting old as fuck, and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be having a baby soon, apparently. So there's all that going on. Milton doesn't want to
Yeah.
play duels anymore. Rick Hall didn't even
No,
come this year, so somebody's got to
no.
take the torch and carry it if we're going to go forward. So I'm hoping that we do see a little bit of a resurgence, or just newer players become
Yeah.
that elite skill level. It is
Mm-hmm.
it's just a hard game to kind of sell to new players when they have other alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen. I played versus this Irish guy, Lord Lane.
Oh
Also,
yeah, yeah, Lord
have
Lane.
been. Yeah, he's been playing also a lot, and he's become better and better. So it's fun to see that the guys who are good back then also, but they're still developing and playing good games. So it's nice to see. We have Greco as an old player also, but yeah, it's also playing some and delivering good results. It is nice. I mean, there are many players out there who has the skill to win tournaments if they only put the time and the right focus into each map. So yeah, it's possible, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's an old game.
And it's still a great game, man. I
It
really
is a
like
great game.
for quite a long time after we spoke, and I got into it. I started hanging out with like the U.S. Quake community folks who have done an excellent job of kind of like keeping consistent QuakeWorld events going on, and for North American players. And Messiah in particular, like I think he lives or dies with QuakeWorld. Like he is so deeply involved in this idea of like we have to keep this game alive and make it viable for Americans to play. And
Hmm.
I got really obsessed with it, man. Like it's such an infectious game because it, unlike many other Quake games, it's simpler. You know, you have less
Mhm.
weapons to deal with. The movement is in Quake World. Obviously, it's a bit more complex than like Netquake or something like that. But essentially, it's actually easier to do for me than it is to play like strafe jumping style Quake 3 movement.
Mhm.
And every single time I play, I learn something different. You have a smaller map pool, so you have less to worry about in that regard. And what I really enjoyed about like kind of getting into Quake World was the fact that it is a small but growing community for us in North America. Immediately, I recognized like fuck teams. I'm never gonna play teams, so I just focused on Duel. And there's some really good videos. If anybody out there is interested in them, Kovac has some really good videos where he kind of breaks down his old school ideas of like this is the way you play If you want to play duels on Airwalk, if you want to play duels on, DM4, like, and it kind of walks you through the process of like, this is how you should think about this room. This is where you should stand, and points out ways that another thing that's not readily apparent to new players is how you can fuck people up with splash damage in this game, like so much more than you can with anything else. So if, for instance, you're on DM4, you're in the red room, you're getting ready to go out the teleporter. If you can hear someone pick up the ammo walking into that room, you can actually shoot through the hole in the floor, and you don't even have to get through it. You just have to hit it. You just hit the edge of that hole, and you could fuck them up and knock them around. And it's so subtle, like little subtle things like that make QuakeWorld so interesting even to this day.
Yeah, because it's you need to have so much fingertip feeling in every movement, and the thing is, the fingertip feeling goes up. The higher skill you get, the more you can read the game, and it's so fun situations can occur. So it's a really amazing game in that regard, but also so punishing when you're meeting someone who is a lot better than you. You're gonna get so beat up. But when it's like, there can be so interesting games when two low skilled or medium skilled players playing each other. I mean, it's so it's hard to explain. It's very interesting. Every situation, just because of the simplicity of the game, as you said. It's that's why I like it also. The more you know of the game, the more interesting it is to both cast and play. That's why I like the tension when you're playing the game. It's amazing.
I'm starting to learn in a lot of ways that the simpler the game is, the smarter the players have to be. And I mean, that could go either way. I mean, like, you have like chess master people playing like Dota and stuff like that, where it's a lot of things going on at one time and they can manage that. But the simpler a game is, like QuakeWorld or like Doom, for instance, is you start to see people kind of invent new ways to be better than their opponents. It could be as simple as, in Doom, you see people that somebody was the first person to figure out you could like strafe run, and then that gave them a huge edge over everyone else. It's just the fact that they can move so much faster. In QuakeWorld, probably there had to be the first guy who realized, like, okay, I can rocket jump, from the ground from the staircase all the way up to the top of DM6 and run over and take red really quickly. And that kind of comes because it's a simple game. Because if there were a lot of different things going on and more to manage, then you probably wouldn't have to innovate as much. You would just focus on that for a very long time.
Yeah, and that is exactly the same thing that happens when you're playing versus a very skilled opponent in Quake. You're trying to do, how can I trick this guy? Take DM for an example, or you're trying to do these sounds or going to teleported, because you have so much respect and you have played each other for so long. How can I? Because all you listen to a sound. If that sound is gonna reveal what the opponent is up to, and that's gonna make you're gonna do something because of that sound, and that is gonna be a big thing. I mean, so that's all you want to do if you're in a passive position in the DM4. You want to try to like rocket jump up, or maybe just fake a rocket jump up so you can go down that the enemy doesn't know exactly where you are. So that goes on with every map. DM4 in particular, because it's such a shaft-based map. But and it's pretty cool in that regard. Everything is, especially when you reach that high level, all these small things that people that maybe don't understand the game are like, why did he shoot a pine there? Why did he go through the teleport there when the enemy is there? Because you want to lure him out, because even though maybe you know that he will stand there and like wait 10 minutes if necessary, but if he can maybe hear a sound that, okay, now it is my chance to go out, and you can lure him out and still stab him in the back somehow. So it's so much meta game going on back and forth all the time. It's an amazing thing when you're actually playing the game and trying to, and sometimes it works, your crazy ideas or your things that's going on. So it's pretty cool.
Those, you've been playing for nearly a quarter of a century. I've been playing since March or April. That was one of the things that like stuck out to me immediately. You mentioned tricking people with sounds. About specifically QuakeWorld and Quake 2, is that the sound design in these games are incredible. In Quake 2, you can literally hear everything on the map unless you're underwater. Like, if your opponent moves at all, in any way, it makes it even the slightest noise, you can actually hear it. In QuakeWorld, specifically, let's talk about DM6 again. If you're coming out of where Mega Health is and you want to make that drop to the floor, you can just walk out and thud on the floor, or you can slowly kind of like ease your way up to it and then push the back button and slide down, or or going up the same way you kind of like strafe up to it. And that playing with sounds like that is my absolute favorite part of playing QuakeWorld. Is it's so easy to trick people, especially if they're new. And not that I like picking on the new guy, but like I mean I'm new too.
Yeah.
But that is like such an edge, man. You can really fuck with people like that. Or if you're going up and down the staircases, to kind of like tap the button, or kind of go down 3 steps at a time so you're not making the bumping sounds, and they have no idea where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could shoot a rocket and like make them think you're coming from a completely different direction. It's so interesting.
That is the cool aspect of the game. Also, that the sound, as you say, is so important in all the skill levels. Like DM6, for example, at GL, you can do this jump on this, like the things holding up the round thing there. And you can make a thud that you're like falling down almost. And some people like, oh, he fell down. Now it's my turn to go out or do something else. So with many things that sounds is so important in everything. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
Right, man. I didn't prepare a whole lot to bother you with. I just wanted to chat, see how you were doing, congratulate you on your win and everything. So at any point in time, if you feel like you're done with this, please feel free to go. But answer your phone. Do that. Let's hear the phone. No, put him on speakerphone. Let's talk to him.
Hey.
Oh, is this your girlfriend?
Yeah, I'm still in the interview here. You want to say something? We're still here.
Hi.
Can you hear her?
No, yeah.
You can just call me after.
Okay. I will call you later. Okay, push,
tell her I said hello.
My boy. He said, hey, my boy. Yeah.
So it's fun. So your girlfriend is Finnish, you're Swedish. You guys speak to each other in English?
Yeah. We speak in English because my Finnish is very, very bad. And it goes. I mean, my English is getting better and better, so that's nice. But yeah, and she knows about 50% Swedish, so I cannot talk shit with her in Swedish. Like, so that is good for her, bad for me, I guess.
One of my best friends is Mexican, and his wife is Japanese, but her mother's Dominican, so she speaks fluent Spanish. Mm-hmm. You know, he was born in America. He's like ethnically Mexican, like his ancestors came from Mexico, but he speaks Spanish too. So when they speak to each other, like he doesn't speak Japanese, she doesn't speak like English all that well. I mean, she does more and more every day, but they speak to each other in Spanish, and I'm just hanging out. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I always think they're making fun of me.
Yeah, it's hard in that regard, because when she speaks Finnish with her friends and so on, I'm like, what are they talking about? They're looking at me and smiling, like.
They're talking about how stupid your dumb video game is. Like all he does.
Yeah, I guess that is exactly what they're talking about.
He keeps talking
about. No clue.
He's talking about bunny hopping and cornholing and fragging.
Yeah, because when I met her girlfriends and friends, I'm like, yeah, I'm a legend in QuakeWorld. You know that? And they were, what? No, I did not say that. No, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, she's really nice. So her English, she has lived in Australia for like 7 years or something like that. So her English is perfect. And it's good. I mean, I'm practicing my English also. So I'm guessing maybe 1 or 2 years I can speak almost fluently.
You speak better English than most Americans do, to be fair.
No, thank you so much.
Especially where I'm from. Like way down south, man, you get some real thick accents, dude. So like, I mean, you sound fantastic in English.
Okay.
Probably pass. You could pass for a native speaker if you really tried, like to kind of mask your accent.
Maybe a couple of more months with this girl, so I will come back with you another interview, and I'll be like, English like a pro.
No, dude. I'll turn you loose. I've got everything I want from you, except for like to come hang out and shit. But we'll do that eventually one day. I'm gonna come to QHLAN at some point. Yeah. It will happen. So
wonderful.
Take care. I love you.
I love you, man. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.